Bleh. Cat People. This film is from 1942. It's one of Val Lewton's films. It was made for RKO Pictures, which no longer exists but used to be one of the biggest studios. It's a horror film. I don't think it qualifies for film noir. However, Val Lewton films have a lot of really great shadowy film noir-ish atmosphere. Previously, I spoke in Mystery of the Wax Museum about how watching these old films transports you to another world and another time. And I feel like that's amped up even higher with a Val Lewton film. Val Lewton was just the producer. The movie was directed by Jacques Tourneur and written by DeWitt Bodine. Val Lewton would go on to produce a slew of horror movies. I would almost say, like, you know, if Universal horror movies were like the Marvel cinema of horror in the 30s and 40s, Val Lewton was like indie horror, right? He's kind of doing lower budget pictures for a major studio, RKO. I have not seen enough Val Lewton films, and I aim to fix that. So basically, Cat People eventually would get remade in the 80s, and you also have that great David Bowie song that I believe was on the soundtrack. Actually, there is a sequel called Curse of the Cat People that is a direct follow-up to the Cat People. You also have something called The Seventh Victim, which is kind of like an unofficial spin-off. Then in 1982, you get Cat People, the remake. As I said, Cat People is about, there's this woman named Irena. She is Serbian. She sort of dwells on her Serbian heritage. Christian villagers that practiced witchcraft and, I guess, shape-shifting into cats. They were driven away by the Mamelukes. Hey, you Mamelukes! The most wicked ones. They escaped further. And so she believes in this legend. This architect dude, he falls in love with Irena. He meets her at the zoo. She's sketching panthers and stuff. His name's Oliver, and he falls in love with Irena. He marries her, but their marriage isn't right. Irena thinks she's evil. She can shapeshift into a panther, and she stalks one of Oliver's coworkers, who also is in love with Oliver, and Oliver seems to be in love with her. Irena, the cat lady, her suspicions are correct. Irena dresses in all black like a panther and really sort of personifies this panther aura. She has a bird in a cage, which was also kind of representative of her in this marriage. She's kind of like a bird in the cage of the marriage. Oliver kind of dismisses her feelings and his suspicions and whatnot. The reality is he's really sort of hung up on his coworker and she him. And eventually they're like, hey, I'm going to divorce my wife so that I could go be with you. But they want to have Irena committed to a mental hospital, in which case it wouldn't be right to divorce. This movie was made in 1942. And again, we're seeing what the social constructs were of the time. And it's fascinating. Even if you're not down with the convoluted sort of plot, just to watch the movie is like watching paintings, moving paintings. The lighting is orgasmic. We get some actual real panther action. There's this psychologist guy that's kind of in love with Irena. He's like kind of messing with people's heads. I don't know. Irena changes into a panther and attacks and kills him, but he stabs her. And so she's basically like a were-panther. She goes to the zoo where we begin the movie and she dies. And when she dies, she transforms into the panther completely. There are some great cat and mouse chasing scenes where Irena is stalking Oliver's coworker. You really get to see the birth of modern cat and mouse suspense in this movie. It also has a really brisk running time, which is great. Makes a great double feature with a movie like Mystery of the Wax Museum. Give me all of them, man. I'll watch them all. It's fun. It's a trip.
Customers